Hey nerds, welcome back to the letter. We're here with part 8. We're still on Hannah's story and her asshole of a husband. Can't stand this dude. The days past had gone by a blur. We hadn't talked much, Luke and I outside necessities. In fact, we've hardly talked beyond the topic of acquisitions of properties. Properties being the mansion, obviously. Everything has been so busy that I haven't talked to anyone outside of the business. It is just so stressing. So one can understand my need of a good chat, preferably over a good meal. There's a time when any decent, emotionally healthy and sociable, capable person need a good friend. One who will talk to them without a conversation degrading or turning into an argument. Or being near a nearby friend. I have an interior designer under confidentiality agreement to listen to me.
Up, higher, come on now!
The place is bustling with movers, carrying furnishings here and there, along with several trunks of personnel belongings taken from our penthouse. I can hear Luke barking at them in another room, making sure another is handled carelessly or gets sold. Nothing is
Careful now! I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African Blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings. Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It is hard to tune him out. The walls did not do a good job of muffling him at all. But then again, it is Luke. I would still hear him ranting even if we were on the opposite side of the mansion, and I'm wearing earplugs.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright. But I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Our butler has made a surprisingly lovely bubble and squeak. Sit, sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now. Oh, Johans!
I'm starting to think it's not an affair, at least, I don't know, just the way the other dude is. I would hope it's not an affair. I'm hoping, I don't know, there's something else. The man in question appears, ready with a tray as he starts to set the table for us. We sit in silence as we are each served with a plate. Bubble and squeak topped with nicely poached eggs with a cherry tomatoes and other garnishes adorning the edges of the plate. A cup and a saucer and a teapot with some Earl Grey is placed for Mary Ann and I for an orange Julius.
How are you liking the project?
Drop that vase and I'll have your head! I know it's only an 8 million yen vase, but I swear,
Well, it's certainly a fun challenge, incorporating the designs of a Jacobean manor and the functionality of a modern household. I have ideas I would like to suggest, by the way, about what to use the second bedroom for. I have been informed of your goddaughter and thought a kid-friendly room might be in order.
You read my mind. I was actually going to bring that up. Oh, that would just be so lovely, Marianne. That way, Kylie can bring her friends over as well. And a good friend of mine, Rochelle, is expecting a baby. So, why don't we think about putting a crib in there too? I can just imagine little ones running around, filling this place with the pitter-patter of their feet.
She wants a kid.
We'd have to make sure they don't trip and fall on the stairs, though.
We won't be able to finish everything up until after the party. But we'll have it ready by then, so that all we need to do is to move in the furnishings.
Yes, that's plenty fine. It's not like we're in a hurry to have it. And we wouldn't want the workers to disturb the guests or the other way around, do we? Just make sure it's presentable. You know, in case a guest snoops about.
Of course. As for the kitchen you wanted, I've already negotiated for the high-end stoves and the hot and cold drawers, so on and so forth. I've got a friend who is able to customize them so that they'll look like the counters we'll be replacing and fit the rest of the interior. They'll be bringing them in today.
why can't you people do anything right? Don't drag it, you'll scratch the wood.
Excellent. But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly too. It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box. Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine, sweetie. Look at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
She looks confused. Of course, she has every right to be. She no doubt overheard me push that estate agent into the sale, making quite the aggressive offer. She saw me sign the papers for the mansion as well. I just had to scoff.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Yes. It wouldn't be appropriate to comment further. It is unprofessional.
Unprofessional.
Can't help but let out a deep sigh as I stick a fork into the dish. I didn't want professional. I want someone who will either agree with me, even if it's just for the sake of agreeing, or someone who would try to talk sense into me. Neutral responses are so boring. There is no discourse in the middle ground.
The food is good. Best bubble and squeak.
Of course it is. Our kitchen staff only uses the freshest, hand-picked ingredients. Only the best for the rights.
Mr. Wright is not joining us?
No, he is far too busy bossing people around. He even refused to join me for breakfast earlier. Hence, this.
I see. My apologies. I really don't know what sort of response you expect to get from me.
There's clatter of silverware as I slam my hands out on the table. It is frustrating. I am frustrated. At Luke, mostly. But Mariana's neutral professional answers are certainly irksome as well.
You're a human with feelings and opinions, aren't you? Don't give me this bollocks about being professional when we're having a nice friendly chat over a nice and friendly breakfast. I can only talk about interior designs for so long, and I detest one-sided conversations, Marianne.
But I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and...
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
About him not eating breakfast with you?
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
I didn't realize that I shouted it out loud until it was too late. There's a sudden silence that settled before I slumped back into my seat. Hiding my face behind my hands, I can feel my shoulders shake. Breathe, I told myself. Calm down. But it's just so hard.
Honestly, sometimes I feel like he doesn't love me anymore. Oh, have I been so blind? Did he ever love me at all? Was our marriage all for the sake of saving his company and his wealth? Because?
Because?
Did I say that out loud again? No, this is bad. Unacceptable. It has been rumored before, the real reason of our engagement, but if anybody were to know of this... Marriages is a necessity to carry on political and financial power. It used to be a common thing, but the Evan Wright union is the perfect happily ever after. Was supposed to be. It is true that we first met each other in order to discuss dealing, to make the then failing Wright Enterprise a subsidiary for Evans Incorporated. But I do remember being in love with him, and there were times when he said he loved me back. Even if I'm not sure of what the truth is now. Either way, I do not want the Wright name or the Evans name dragged through the mud because of a slip-up. And if Marianne so much talked of this, I'm not gonna threaten her. Marianne is a good sort, isn't she? Wow, getting good places! So far as she has been reasonable and accommodating even towards Luke's ridiculous request. Patient and professional, did it only extend to her business? Or would she be able to understand that thing like this are not so simple, not as clean as they are painted to be? Certainly, I could talk to her, ask for her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles. This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs. If anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
If I am to be frank, Mrs. Wright, this isn't new for me. You aren't the first, and you certainly won't be the last to have complicated dealings. Unless what you're doing is illegal, I turn a blind eye.
Can I trust her?
If I wasn't in the same boat, I'd be trying to pry those secrets and gossip with you about them by now.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
Whoa! It's... Let's not do that. It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
We continue to eat our meal in peace, finishing the last of the food and drink. When the door to the parlor opened, Marianne and I are just sitting in silence.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
I give him nothing but a small nod.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties. I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
Making my way downstairs, I look back and see Marianne give me a nod and a small smile. That certainly put me in lighter spirit. That is odd today, isn't it? Oh yes. People had caught wind of new mansion in the very moment we left the open house. Luke has boasted he could acquire the property in no time, and allowed a photo shoot for an interior designer magazine to be scheduled today. There were complications, and it took longer than it usually does for us. Hopefully we won't have anything unfortunate slip-ups with someone who isn't bound by confidentially. The mansion grounds had been one of the first things to be fixed up aside from the bedroom. Although it's still work in progress, it had a promising start, and I can already see the flower patches. Luke's favored daffodil stands out easily, having been transplanted from pots that used to be litter from the rooftop of our penthouse. Why if the moving crew thought that Luke was being hard on them? They clearly didn't see the landscaper on his way out. The man looked like he was ready to faint, and Luke seemed ready to kill him by the end of their discussion. It is the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. Aww. He's hard to miss. The hulk of the man clearly did not belong. The big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look even larger. It is a particular sight seeing someone who looks like the way he does, handling little, delicate things that are with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am. Hope you weren't waiting too long. But it looks like you're still moving in, huh? Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
You look familiar. Have we met?
I have a very wide social circle, so everybody looks familiar at one point or another. But no one would think I'd remember somebody who stands out like him. The struggle to recall must have been the evident of my face as he quickly and kindly answers my question.
Oh, I was with Isabella, your estate agent, when she had the house blessed.
So this is after that.
Oh yes, that's right. Small world, isn't it?
Should have known you were Miss Wright.
The one and only. Welcome to Maison de Wright. And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed. But it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work. Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product. Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran? Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Hannah, if I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hannah.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright, Hannah.
Zach proves quickly enough that I can, in fact, trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in this industry are at the very least. He is kind and curious, listening and following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quiet in my magician's toolkit. From inside, he has procured several items to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruit, lemons, trays, and pepper pills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought into the kitchen settling. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to the count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture. But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
No lights. Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
We go through the room one at a time, although the first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Ooh. The ballroom needs a little preparation with the grand design. Although there is some trouble at first with the wide open space in the picture being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary props come into handy, considering how Joanne's kept the place so neat and sterile. One can particularly eat off the floor. We carry on, touring the house and taking pictures where we can, with expectation to the rooms, which has yet again gained any purpose on our design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek of the photos yet. I'm surprised they kept all the old pictures of like people who lived here. Funnily enough, he is using traditional camera. I didn't even know the film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his craft that I'm not too worried about botched photography. The lady's gonna be in the pictures later. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging by how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of the conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes far as to talk about the terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask what the technical aspects. I can't quite see the pictures as it's made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practice their craft such as this, exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite exercise for both of us. Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Here we go! Just a moment. And I have not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary rhymes, it is put to a halt. His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Oh boy. Yet he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake. There's a light sheen of the sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Take the picture, show her! Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures. Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
I struggled to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back, an indescribable tightness around my throat. Everything stops. Everything starts again, and I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I didn't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least, not all the time.
What is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line, sticking my nose into something into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing it, as I see his shoulders slump and the easygoing air has faded away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
I'm surprised I'm glad she do it because her fucking racist-ass husband.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates. But when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives me the spiel of it all. I'm not even gonna attempt that. Dark blue, the darkest hours of the Black British. He speaks with passion of the ones who have gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why? I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed, listening. Prejudice and discrimination, in schools and in the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general, still being treated like second-class citizens, all because of the color of their skin. And it is all just positivity riveting and sad. It comes to the point wherein he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing that what he had just done. I'm really glad they're bringing this topic into this game. There needs to be more awareness.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely. You do have very beautiful eyes.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from, but I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have been fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke? And would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
Live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children could be so cruel sometimes. Of course, it may be slightly different story when you have a personal guard, and the stolen item is not your pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose? Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl and all dolled up, treated like a fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me hand and feet. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning before they went off. Who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more often on the telly or in my parents' papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big holes, but nobody in it. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us. And there's a moment where neither of us are sure how to go on from there. Things have gotten too personal, yet isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here. You'll make home out of it yet.
He certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one. Just as large and extravagant. Just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring. You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy, looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such a crass word. Oh no! Please leave him and get with him! But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle. You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents. Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
Oh, I don't know about quoting fancy poetry, but I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Can you cook your best?
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
It's been too long since I've had a nice proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met Zachary and sort who can probably befriend anyone, he's just a comfortable person to be around. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze, and somewhere along the lines as we talk and laugh, I find myself a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me a strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly isn't odd. That is how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. Why? Anyone else would have absolutely welcomed the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered by it. Because he likes Becca! Becca! He should have been used to the different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. And if not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind, but he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is just friendly touch, a pretty smile there, and a gentle swaying of the hips as I move around. Zachary grew and grew more in red every time he noticed. Am I being mean? As I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview and beyond that. There's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having playful, friendly chat while enjoyable outside view. At least, that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted. Could you maybe stop doing that?
Oh! Ah! Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Oh.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Okay, good. We did the right thing.
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on the finger, and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact that he pointed it out, rather, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It is just going to be harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No. No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
I can't help it. I really, really can't. And I'm going to apologize lots later. Surely by a catty smile on my face, it is obvious I'm just pulling his leg. The laugh I fail to contain certainly gives it away, if it isn't obvious. But still, he lights up in embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think you can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away. Besides, I gotta be going. It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally. Just, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
As fate would have it, the very moment the words leave his mouth, Johans comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of the brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof, Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing it within threshold of the foyer and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with the sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper. Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods and grins on his face as we say goodbye is the sweetest that I've ever seen. I linger looking out from him with his relatively tiny bike, backpack safely secured to his basket by the front, and the suitcase hooked to his back. I watched as he went down the path to an Ansley village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment I thought the electric work is not up to par, but clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task considering the size of my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness grants the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that has been reflected on later. My skin starts to prickle, and there's a distinct feeling of being watched. Ah, here we go. It unsettles me and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman.
This fucking asshole. There, at the end of the hall is my beloved husband with his face on one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself going to be livid after seeing the toxic green liquid glim mockling at me. I don't know what that is.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe? You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me. Helps with the hangover, dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much. You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hannah, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
I hate this shit.
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you. That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey. I was informed the moment your little interview was done. So, what was it then, What were you doing?
What's it gonna be? Should I tell him the truth? Or a little lie? I don't want to hurt Zachary. But I don't think he would. He's kind of a fucking bitch. So fuck this dude.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer
Good.
for
Go
Luxury
down.
Living.
I don't want her anywhere near this dude. I have no reason to tell a lie. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I actually am the blame for something. He has a way to make me laid bar with just a look. That had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro.
Oh, Lord!
You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was with him?
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried.
This dude's,
You know better than to trust those media types, Buttercup.
this dude's death can't come soon enough.
He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that. But all he's looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now, as I look at him, they're nothing but a shade of green, as the bloody damn drink in his hand.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hana.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hungover, forgotten. During the course of the little spat, the man jumps to his feet and ceases. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing he can find.
Oh, it is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want. And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs because of your little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Whoa.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous. Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should drink more.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence, with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served, well grander than usual anyway, most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. Plate of native oysters from the starter, in tranche of turbot, with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon carbs, and anchovy sauce for maids. This is disgusting! To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely to lull the night, I sit in the house too big, too empty, and foreigner for and unwelcoming. Even with the warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There is no need for tears, however. I know I can get through this like every other obstacle I've faced before. This is a minor setback with what I hope will be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and for our future children fills me with renewed vigor. Besides, it looks like someone's having a cry already. Uh-oh! The wailing is far away and muffled, yet at the same time it shakes me from my very core. I hear it. As the suffering, I just stand right beside me. Hearing it sends chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Oh! Curiosity sinks in and I follow the sorrow into the sounds into the kitchen. And into the wine cellar hatch.
Hello? Is anybody down there?
I'm curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going down into the dark, humid underground. I'm not as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. More often than not, it was either Jonas or who'd I calm them down, who'd help them figure out what is going to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholesome benevolent. So I will, open the hatch. Let's get this jump scare going. I may not be going down, but there's no point in talking through the closed door. Or hatches in that case. The thing refuses to budge at first, and there's a soft click, and it easily swings free. As I lift up the hatch and look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasy washes over me. This is just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, I feel as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. I can hear her whispering. Calling for me. She wants me. Needs me. She wants me to drown me, pull me down and suffocate me in her embrace until I sink into the bottom. Oh shit! I did her dream and she's gonna die! A deep abyss awaits, inviting me yet foreboding. She's calling me from in there, isn't she? And I do want to help. I do! But the shadows threaten to creep out, and the feeling of apprehension keeps me in place. Already it paints the room in darker light. This is a dream all over again. And there is a hook on my stomach as well. This time, it doesn't pull me back. Instead, it pulls me forward. There's a lurking sensation, and the feeling that follows after is hard to explain. It feels like I'm watching myself from the sidelines, a spectator in my actions or lack thereof. I will myself to snap out of the detached feeling, to move, to do anything except stare at myself. And for that moment, I see the look of fear on my own face. I'm back in my body, but the hook in my stomach is no longer the only one. There are hooks everywhere, tearing me, pulling me at my skin, flesh and bones. They pull at me every direction, and it hurts. It hurts me so much, but I can't just bring myself to scream out.
Help me.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Keys! I wake from a deep slumber. I wonder what would have happened if I had let it go. I should have let it go just to see the death, but oh well. It takes me a while with the fog that has settled in my head with the heavy limbs. But soon enough I manage to look around. I'm in our bed already, although I do not recall going here. Luke slumbered beside me, looking peaceful and angelic. It doesn't matter. I'm safe, and I feel better than ever. Tomorrow, better days will come. October 28th. Friday. Whew! Okay, we're gonna pause right here. Got through another day. I'm kind of curious what would have happened if we had messed up, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of times in the future I'll mess up. So I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys will watch me in the next episode, and have a great day. Bye!